Like, that's my best guess. Like, it's some weird, oh, this person looks like you type situation, and now it's in your head that you're thinking that, oh, that is me type thing. Maybe. Let's keep reading. A long time ago. How long ago was it? I don't know. I just know it was when I was really little. I lived here together with my mom and dad and my older sister. Your older sister? But you're an only child, right? No. I had an older sister, she whispered. Why did you hide it from me? I always heard you talk about her before. I've never heard you talk about her before. I wasn't hiding it from you, Sachu. I'd never do that. I only just knew it now. I remembered for the first time. I'm as shocked as you are that I had a different mom. But now I know. I remember her now. Nami's lips quivered. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that you hid it from me. I should watch what I say. I apologized, but I still couldn't believe what she was saying. We stumbled into this mansion by accident. She just happens to have lived here a long time ago. But Nami, it's not that I don't believe you, but isn't it impossible that you're just mistaken? I mean, all sorts of crazy things have been happening to us since we got here. You're tired. You're not thinking straight. No, this can't be some kind of trick. Nami shook her head. I remember now, though it's faint. It's getting clearer. But if it's true, Oh, Sachu. Nami looked at me as though she wanted me to save her. What should I do? That mummy has to be either my mom or my sister, but what am I supposed to do? I didn't know what to say to her. Nami looked down at the ground, trembling. I I might have done something I can never undo. Something you can never undo. What would that be? I can't remember what it is yet, but it's something. I did something to my sister, but I can't remember what. That's why I have to find that mummy. Nami stumbled to the hallway. I said, Okay, Nami, I'll help you. We'll find that mummy together. Wait, Nami, let's go to the sofa and sit down. You still have enough time for that, right? Okay, I feel like we should just go find the mummy together. Okay, Nami, I'll help you. We'll find that mummy together. Nami and I left the piano room. It was silent in the hall, as if nothing had happened. We should start searching from the second floor, shouldn't we? We slowly trudged upstairs. Nami had said what she said, but it made no sense to me. She'd found her name here, and we'd experienced all sorts of strange things, but she's just confused. Once we've checked through everything, we'll get some rest on the sofa. Tomorrow, the two of us will probably be having a good laugh about all of this. Okay, we should start checking from the second floor. As we head up to the second floor hallway, I turned and looked behind me. Huh? Nami wasn't there. Did I lose her somewhere? I was sure she was right behind me. I looked, let's see. Choices, choices, choices. Looked down the hall on the first floor. Where did she go? I checked down the second floor hallway. I feel like she's still on the first floor. Because, why else? Where else would she be? I looked down into the hall on the first floor. When I turned around to face the sudden sound I heard, I saw a wheelchair with nobody on it racing towards me at high speed. Whoa, I had dodged the wheel by the skin of my teeth. The wheelchair collided with the handrail of the stairs. If it had hit me, I might have fallen downstairs along with the wheelchair, but there was something else I was more concerned about. I caught a glimpse of the person who thrust the wheelchair towards me. It looked like Nami. Could she have done it? What was going... That was going too far just to be a joke. Could the confusion that she was feeling have driven her crazy? Glancing at the wheelchair, I noticed something silver shining on it. It was a wrench. Oh, hey, this is my wrench. The wrench that was wrapped in tape and had my name, Sachu, written on it. I've been using it to do maintenance on my car. Who brought this here? At that moment, a door opened nearby. Oh, Nami. Nami had a stoic look on her face. You had me worried there. I ran over to her, but Nami took one look at me, stepped back in the room she was in, and shut the door. Hey! I dashed over and opened the door. Nami had buried her face into the bed on the right-hand corner of the door. What happened, Nami? Nami didn't look up. She was pointing at the desk. It looked like she had just started crying. There was a single photograph on the desk. It was an old photograph with a sepia color tone. The photo were two girls, probably around 3 years old, standing next to each other wearing the exact same white blouse. Not only were they wearing matching clothes, they looked perfectly alike. I'm guessing they were identical twins conceived from a single egg. When I saw the photo, I immediately understand what Nami was thinking, but I asked her anyway. So, what's the big deal? That photo? She looks like me, doesn't she? I could hear Nami's voice coming from under the bedsheet. It sounded like she was crying. How so? I don't see the resemblance. Take a closer look then. Why? There's no way either of these little kids turned into a girl as beautiful as you, Nami. Stop it. That's enough. Enough of what? Look at the name tags printed on their chests. Name tags? The two girls in the photo did have name tags pinned to their chest. One was Nami and the other was Naomi. So what? It's just a coincidence. When I hesitated to say any more, Nami looked at me. The second her eyes met, she covered her face with her hands and jumped straight out of the room. It was all too much. I was dumbfounded. Was everything that Nami said true? Did she really live here with her sister? Then that wasn't Nami, but Naomi? If they were identical twins, then it wouldn't be out of the question. But why? Why would Nami's sister mess with my car and attack me? What did I ever do to her, now that I think about it? I remember what happened in the shower. Maybe that was Naomi, too. I don't know why she would have a grudge against me, but one thing was clear. She was trying to hurt us. I started to get worried about Nami. When I went out to the hallway, the door further ahead was closed. It was probably Naomi's room. I started walking that way, but when I looked down, I could see wet footprints that led to a different room. I also heard the piano coming from below. Where could Nami be? Oh, I don't like this. I ran to the hallway, to the door that had been shut. I feel like following the wet footprints is probably the best idea, because, that might be Naomi. Okay, let's do that. I followed the wet footprints. The footprints continued to the room where I first saw the mummy. I could hear a voice inside. I held my breath as I peered through the keyhole. There were two Namis. One had fallen on the floor. The other was standing in front of her wearing a wet white dress, but their faces were identical. The one on the floor was wearing the clothes that Nami had been wearing. Does that mean the girl in the white dress is Naomi? The girl who looked like Nami was pointing a knife at Nami and screaming, We're going to me and my brother's place. Brother? There's a brother too? Well, I didn't have time to think about it. Naomi started coming closer to Nami with the knife. Stop! I stumbled into the room and leapt for the hand that held the knife. Don't interfere. Are you Naomi? Why would you do this to your own sister? That's none of your business. Naomi put up a struggle, but then I got the knife away from her. She ran out the open door into the hallway, and then she was gone. Nami, are you okay? Sachu. Nami's voice was trembling. Is that Naomi? Your sister? Why was she about to stab you with a knife? And what's this about a brother? You had a brother too? Despite the excitement of what just happened, Naomi could only look at back. Not Naomi. Nami could only look back at me with sadness in her eyes. Were you hurt? I'm fine. Thank you, Sachu. I don't know what would have happened to me if you hadn't come. Right. But anyway, was that Naomi? That's what she told me. She said she's my sister. I was shocked. What about your brother? I don't know about him. I just don't know. Nami stumbled for the right words. It's okay. You don't have to try to remember. A book had been dropped on the floor. I picked it up and saw that it was a diary. Well, it's the same diary from before. And then I saw that it detailed the struggles and loneliness that Naomi experienced taking care of her brother after her mother had passed away. I'm afraid to go to sleep, wondering to myself, will Naoki be dead when I wake up? The very thought tears me apart. I really will end up all alone here, but with all of the pain Naoki's in, all of the screaming, if there's no cure for this, I'd rather just die. There's no point keeping me alive. Kill me, Naomi. Please, make the pain stop. Kill me. Oh, Naoki. If only I had been the one who got sick instead of you, yet even this burn that I suffered, I'm forced to live. Why did you get sick, Naoki? And why did I have to be the one to live on? Naomi started talking, her voice mumbled by her tears. Naomi, before you got here. Sachu, she kept reading that to me. She said that despite all the hardships she faced, even the death of our brother couldn't stop her from wanting to see me. But I don't know anything about that. She said the three of us played together as kids, but I have no memory of him. Still, I do remember the fire that burned her because I was the one who caused it. You can't blame yourself for that, especially not for something that happened when you were a kid. But I held Nami tightly as I turned to the last page. Let me sink to the bottom of the ocean. Let me find rest there in my ocean. It was Naoki's last will, and I did just as he said. Now I'm all alone. The diary ended there. What did he mean, let me sink to the bottom of my ocean? That's when it hit me. Nami, your brother might not be dead. Huh? The mummy's eyes. They look just like yours. The mummy's eyes look just like mine? At first, I thought it was Naomi, but maybe the mummy is your brother, only dressed like a mummy. But the diary pretty much said that he's dead. When I took the knife from Naomi, I got a look at her eyes. I could see that she wasn't right in the head. She might think he's dead, but that doesn't mean he really is. Wasn't there a room we still haven't entered yet, Nami? Yeah, the door that was sealed off. If we go there, we might be able to figure out what happened. I headed to the exit. Okay, this is, like, taking a weird turn. Like, first it was Scooby-Doo mystery, now this is just a weird, like, crazy, like, person. Wait, I'm going to. You sure you'll be okay? Maybe you could lock the door and just wait in here. No, I'll go. This is my problem to solve. It's my family, after all. It sounded like Nami had made up her mind. She wasn't crying anymore. Okay, we'll go together. The door was closed, but was it still locked? I grabbed the doorknob. Ugh. It suddenly felt like something heavy hit the back of my head. Then... oh, I figured the ocean was the aquarium from the beginning. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense, because the key for whatever the locked room is probably the thing that was floating in the aquarium. Then I fell unconscious. The key for whatever it is probably in the aquarium, and that's why you need to choose... oh, okay. But you wouldn't know that on your first playthrough if you didn't think about that. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it now. That makes sense. I wouldn't have put two and two together, to be quite honest. I slowly opened my eyes and saw the red carpet of the hallway. Ugh, my head still hurt. I tried to move my right hand to my head. That's when I realized I was unable to move. I'd been tied to a wheelchair. Oh, excuse me, I did not mean to burp. Oh shit. I wriggled my body to try and loosen the rope. So, you're awake. I heard a voice from behind me. Is that you, Nami? Untie me. Tried to twist my head to look behind me, but I couldn't turn it far enough to see your face. Let's get going, shall we? The lady behind me started pushing the wheelchair. Nami? You're not Nami, are you? Her voice sounded exactly the same, though. Was this Naomi? I was lonely. I can't tell you how lonely I was. You wouldn't understand. You forgot all about us. This wasn't Nami. Where could Nami have gone? I really did feel sorry for Naoki. He was in pain, unbearable pain. He weathered it all, though, until he was nothing but skin and bones. I dreamed that that we could have lived together, the three of us, but you never came. What is she talking about? And where was she taking me? Even after Naoki passed away, you didn't come. I hated you for that. It was all because of the fire that you started. It seemed like she was talking to me as if I were Nami. I managed to get one of my hands free and pulled my lighter out of my pocket. The wheelchair rolled slowly down the second floor hallway. Dad died in the fire you started. Mom was so affected by the shock of it that she grew sick, and my forehead. Naomi was at a loss for words for a second. I was just glad that Naoki was unharmed. Back then, I had no idea that you were the one who started the fire. I lit the lighter to burn through the rope. I read Mom's diary after she died. That's when I found out that what you had done. That was about the same time that Naoki started getting sick. Her voice started to tremble, and the wheelchair came to a stop. We were right in front of the staircase. Oh no. Suddenly, she started screaming. You need to pay for what you've done. You killed Dad. You paralyzed Mom, you made Naoki sick, and now he's dead. Now all that's left is me and this burn that has never gone away after all these years. Naoki wanted to meet you again before he died. So now it's time for you to set things right. It's time for you to meet Naoki face to face. Naoki can tell you himself just how much he suffered. Together, you and I will dive into the depths of his ocean. The rope finally broke, but only my torso had been freed. My legs were still tied. I was able to turn around and look behind me. Where did you take Nami? The girl looked exactly like Nami, but she was staring up at the ceiling with a terrifying expression on her face. I don't know what sort of painful stuff you went through, but you're talking about something that happened when you were kids. Nami's done nothing wrong now. Who are you? What does it matter who I am? Where did you take Nami? That's none of your business. She thrust the wheelchair forward. Whoa. I crashed down the stairs along with the wheelchair. My entire body was hit hard. When I looked up, I couldn't see her. I have to hurry. I've got to hurry and find Nami. I untied my legs, and even though it was painful, I forced myself to stand up. As I stood up, a key fell to the ground. Don't tell me this is. I headed off to the door where I had been knocked unconscious while I tried to go through it. If Naomi thought that I was Nami in the wheelchair, that would mean the real Nami is still alive. Nami, wait for me. I'm coming to save you. I stood in front of that unopened door. The spikes that had been driven into it had already been removed. I set the key in the door and into the lock and twisted it, and it unlocked. I open the door. The room was a dreadful sight to behold. This is where the fire Naomi was talking about had happened. Everything in the room had been burnt to a crisp. The walls were all solid black, and there was a gaping hole in the ceiling. The carpet had been completely burned to ash. The wind was blowing through the broken glass windows. There was no sign of Nami. Naomi must have moved her, but in the center of the room was the mummy I'd seen before, sitting in the wheelchair. This is Nami's mom. Placed on her knees was the open diary she had been reading before going unconscious. Something had been written on the last page. Mom, I'm going to take Nami to be with Naoki now. Be with Naoki? Where? At that moment, I remembered Naoki's final request. Let me sink to the bottom of my ocean. The aquarium! Okay, so you were right about the aquarium. At that moment, there was a huge sound. The room shook violently. What's happening? In pain, I stepped back into the hall. I heard the sound of water from downstairs. I ran over and saw the figure of a person running down the stairs and out of sight. Then I heard another explosion. The other side of the hall was well lit. It looked as though flames were coming up from the underground boiler room, but there was no time to deal with that now. I ran straight to the aquarium, rubbed the glass, and looked inside. There, in the murky water, I saw Nami's face. Nami! I struck the aquarium with both of my fists, but it didn't even move a budge. It didn't even budge. That's when I grabbed the axe that was hanging on the wall. I broke the aquarium glass, and with a huge rush of water, out came Nami in a pile of white bones. I put my ear to Nami's mouth. She wasn't breathing. I placed my hand on her chest. No movement. Nami, this can't be happening. I pushed her chest hard, and a squirt of black water emerged from her mouth. However, she didn't spit out the water the way a living person might. It was like the water had been pushed out of her by a pump. Nami, I kept pushing her chest like crazy. Less water started coming out, and then nothing came out at all. Nami, I'll kiss you, so open your eyes. I held her head and started giving her mouth to mouth. Her lips were cold. I breathed as hard as I could to send air into Nami's lungs, but her body remained just as cold. Nothing had changed. Nami, dead? No, can't be. Please, open your eyes. I propped Nami and shook her shoulders as far as I could. Her body gave no resistance. She felt like a doll. I know what you're up to. I laughed at Nami. You're just closing your eyes, yeah? You're always trying to get to me, and I always fall for it. You're waiting for me to start crying so you can open your eyes and shout boo. Well, it's not gonna work this time. I'm gonna let go of you, you know? I took my hands away from her shoulders. Nami's torso slumped to the ground like a mannequin. No, Nami, don't be like that. You always wanted to fool me, didn't you? Well, you fooled me good. Look, you even got me crying now. You did it. You won. You can start laughing now. Nami didn't even budge. I could barely see the bones scattered around her because of my tears. I don't know what happened with your brother, but why did you have to die, Nami? Damn it. I stood up and kicked one of the bones. It bounced off the floor and rolled around. It was a skull. This skull. It had a long jaw and a line of sharp teeth. This skull isn't human. It must have been a dog or something. Don't tell me. Maybe she didn't have a brother after all. Could this have been another one of Naomi's delusions? I looked up at Nami's cold face. How? Why did Nami have to die just because of her sister's sick fantasies? Shit, I'm gonna kill that bitch. I stood up and ran into the hallway, but at some point the fire had spread and I couldn't get one step past the bedroom. I opened the door to the dining room. Nobody was in there. I opened the door to the study. Nobody was in there. I opened the door to the piano hall. Nobody was in there. I ran up the stairs, but the hands of the flames had reached this far, and I couldn't manage to continue down the hallway. I have to carry Nami out of here. I looked down from the second floor. I couldn't believe my eyes. Nami was gone. Did Nami come back to life? For a brief moment, I was overjoyed, but then I considered another possibility. Could she have stolen Nami's corpse? No, there's no way. Nami must have come back to life. Saw the fire and ran. Kept telling myself that as I headed downstairs. The door at the entrance wouldn't open. Oh shit. I'll have to out through the back at this rate. Yet the entrance hall was already completely covered in flames. There's nowhere to run. The smoke and hot wind started to envelop me. Was I going to burn to death in this house? No. Nami's alive. And there's no way I'm gonna die here either. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind caressed the flames. I turned to face the wind blowing towards me. The fireplace had popped open. There's where the wind was coming from. The walls were starting to crumble. I jumped into the chimney. I squatted down inside and managed to fit through. It was pitch black inside and I couldn't see anything, but I could feel a narrow path stretching out in front of me. My hands searched for the walls and moved further down the path. Could Nami have gone through here too? Maybe when she was a kid she played in here, like it was a secret tunnel. That's what I thought. I imagined that Nami squatting and moving down the same path just ahead of me. I then called out into the darkness, Nami. There was no reply. No, she's got to be there. She's got to be there just ahead. The path had been leading down at a gradual slant until it started rising, and then suddenly I could see yellow flowers before my very eyes. It was the other side of the greenhouse. Why here, though? I looked over at the mansion and saw that the fire had already taken the second floor. Flames danced out of the broken windows. Oh, I saw someone enter the mansion from the back door. Was that Nami? I rushed over to see. But I tripped over something and fell. What I had tripped over was Nami. She was right there on the ground, but even though my foot had rammed into her, she hadn't budged. This had to be Nami. Hey, hold on. Put my ear to her chest. No movement. No, wait, something's moved just now. I listened harder, but I couldn't hear anything. No, that can't be right. Something moved now. I heard it. I started pushing Nami's chest with both hands again. Nami, hurry up and open your eyes. Wake up already. I spoke to Nami ever so gently. Nami, it's time to go back. You need to get up. She didn't respond. What are you doing, Nami? If you don't hurry up, I'm leaving you behind. Brought my hands down on her chest forcefully. You made it all the way back here. Didn't you? Why don't you go back to the way you were before? Wake up. But there was no response. I thrust my hands down again on her chest and kept going. Nami, but it made no difference. Before I knew it, I wasn't even pushing down on her chest anymore. I was just lightly tapping her without any strength at all. Nami. How? Why? I dropped my face against Nami's chest in despair. Huh? Shocked, I pushed my ear down. Nami. I'm certain I could hear her heart beating. Nami. Started pushing against her chest again. With each push, I could see her breathe a little stronger and color started to return to her face. I screamed, Nami. Ugh. She struggled to breathe and her eyelids moved. Sachu? Nami. I hugged her. I'm so glad. Nami. What happened to me? You're okay. You're gonna be just fine. I was overcome with tears. Oh, I remember. Naomi, my sister. Nami looked up at the burning mansion. It's on fire. Don't tell me. Nami had a dark look on her face. There was nothing I could do for her. I was totally focused on saving you. What about my brother, Naoki? What about him? There was no brother, Nami. That was just one of Naomi's delusions. You never had a brother. One of her delusions? She was lonely, so she made him up. The bones Naomi said that were her brothers turned out to be the bones of a dog. She can't be serious. At that moment, I could hear Craze screaming coming from inside the mansion. Naoki! Naoki! My sister. Don't. We'd never make it to her in time. I stopped Nami, who had started to run towards the mansion. Naoki! At that instant, the mansion started to collapse, and the sound of it falling overpowered her scream. The mansion was done for. As I watched the roof fall in, and the stone walls crumbled away, it was as if Naomi's grudge had been the only thing that had kept the old place standing for as long as it did. And now, that grudge was buried under the rubble of the mansion, along with Naomi herself. My sister. Nami fell to her knees. Tears streamed from her eyes. To the side of Nami's face, lit up red by the fire of the burning rubble, I saw a single hypercilium swaying to and fro. But who the heck was in the armor? What about the mummy? I think this you find out on. So there are multiple endings from my understanding. So you're supposed to play through it again. And I need to find a walkthrough to figure out which choices you were supposed to make, but like you do find out more about the sister and all that stuff, and if you play through it again and pick some different stuff, which I might do on another I might do another playthrough on a different stream, but this is essentially this is the first ending you're supposed to get, pretty much. It's not a long game for your first playthrough. I think the visual novel database listed as 3 hours for your first playthrough. Obviously it takes longer if you're going through it again, if you pick different stuff, that type of thing. But I have to, when I find a playthrough map, I'll probably do another stream with the thorough playthrough, going to the other ending. But yeah, this was quite interesting. Very interesting. It's an interesting game, and it's interesting because this also was like Chunsoft's like first initial like sound novel, and it like this is what propelled them as a company to do, keep making games, and then eventually, we get Spike Chunsoft and all that stuff, so it's like, it's a pivotal game in that aspect. And stuff no one was really doing on the SNES at that time, so it's interesting. The graphics and the music were really good. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be, like, this nice, but, yeah. Very interesting. I do want to see if I can find a walkthrough to see what I needed to hit on the other choices, but for a game made in 1992, like, it's pretty good. try again. So that's what it means with, you know. Yeah, I didn't know the SNES can make sounds like this either. I mean, I also didn't grow up with the SNES, unfortunately, so I don't. This was all like new to me in that aspect, but that was interesting for sure. Um, but yeah, um, I for sure want to play this again and see if we can get the actual like real ending and not just like on the first playthrough like I did now. But um, I this was a long too. This is a longer stream than I normally do, but it was fun. I was actually kind of fun. So I'm definitely gonna have to find the walkthrough, and we'll have to go through this again at a different time. But that was fun. I think this, honestly, like for design concept alone at the time, for a game made in 1992, this was pretty top notch. Like people weren't even doing this stuff on a PC level, so I enjoyed it. Very enjoyable. I'm excited to play through it again with other choices and see how far we get. But for now, this is the end for now. So, but thank you all for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed my dramatic reading of the game. Uh, bye bye. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully, we'll play another playthrough of it once I get a walkthrough guide. But bye bye.